Kim Il-sung's original name was Kim Sung-ju. He was born in April 15 of 1912.
The same day the Titanic sank. Coincidence? I think not.
During Kim's childhood, he and his parents had to escape from the Japanese government of Korea and settle in Manchuria, where he attended elementary school. He later, still a student, joined a communist youth organization, and thanks to this he was arrested and imprisoned in 1929. Sung-yu joined the Korean guerrilla resistance against the Japanese during the 1930s when released from prison. Due to that, Soviet military authorities started to pay attention to him and later sent him to the Soviet Union to be trained militarily and politically. There he joined a communist party.
During World War II, Kim Il-sung, with his communist thoughts, joined the Red Army, serving as the captain in the USSR Army. After World War II, Russia landed in the north of Korea and the US in the south. Korea was divided due to Japan losing against the Allies because of its influence, becoming North Korea and South Korea in 1946.
In 1948, Kim became the Prime Minister of the new Democratic People's Republic of Korea and only a year later took over as the chairman of the Korea Communist Workers' Party.
That year, he finally obtained complete dictatorial authority over the country.
In 1950, Kim launched an invasion of South Korea, thus beginning the Korean War, and later became his country's absolute ruler, transforming North Korea into a highly regimented society.
Kim Il-sung started as a Stalinist due to the fact that he served the Red Army and that Stalin himself decided to aid North Korea to put Kim as a puppet. But this relation was cut off after the Korean War in 1950 to 1953, when Kim decided to change North Korea's policy to one of ostensible diplomatic and economic self-reliance. The objective was to stop the excessive influence of foreigners and to create a strong nation with the purpose of unifying Korea, especially after the separation of these two nations in 1945, where Korea was divided in two, one with the influence of Russia in the north, and the other with the influence of USA in the south. This ideology was called Juche or Shuhe, which was proclaimed in December 1951, and it was supposed to inspire and mold nationalism with a focus on Kim and the KWP. Kim thought that Korea needed an authoritative leadership to match the revolutionary environment, and his ideology was given a test when, after taking away foreigners' help, the country fell in a small crisis over the economy and national security. But this only proved that the nation needed the self-reliance. So they started to promote sacrifice, austerity, unity, and patriotism as a way to inspire the ideology. It wasn't until the 1970s where the ideology settled, and Kim suggested to change the ideology's name to Kim Il-sung Chui.
Hey, Kim! How are you doing? Oh, I see you have your world domination checklist. That's awesome! Hey, first of all, let's see how much of a good dictator you were. First, did you brainwash all of the people in your country with propaganda?
Great!
Then, hey, did you take down everyone who had a different opinion than you and try to oppose you? That's incredible!
Another one!
And finally, did you not let anyone participate in any way in any decision that you made and impose your dictatorship for almost 50 years? That's incredible!
Oh, you crappy person!
We may say that Kim Il-sung's regime had its pros and cons, for he did intend to make a change towards progress and independence by contemplating negotiations with Japan in 1991, inviting Jimmy Carter, opening a free economic zone in Rajin-Songbong, and by trying to make amends with South Korea with a series of agreements and meetings. And his government only ended when he died, just before another meeting with them. However, we think that his wish of bringing them together was because he wanted to take power over both. His importance for today's governments is that his ideologies and way of raising his son led him to the decisions he took. After his death, Kim Jong-il had too little time to prepare for the job, so he didn't do a good job internally or externally by making an awful domestic and military policies, developing more nuclear weapons, and worsening starvation, also increasing his dependency on China. His government paved the way for the extreme one that we can see today with his grandson and took 3 generations to finally settle in.